Imagine a world where cherished memories begin to slip through your fingers like sand, and where familiar faces become strangers, and the very essence of who you are begins to fade away. This, my friends, is a picture of Alzheimer's disease. And in today's broadcast, we are going to be talking about how we can find ways to reduce this horrible, horrible disease. Over 54 million people worldwide battle this disease and other types of dementias. But here's the thing. There's a reason why I started this podcast. And if it changes one life, then this podcast is worth it. So let's dive in and start understanding the power of lifestyle choices in shaping our brain health.
Embark on a journey to defy time with LMAO, Laughing My Age Off podcast. I'm your host, Erica Kelly, and I started this show because, like you, I'm curious about the secrets to staying youthful as the years go by. Join me as we discover the secrets to slowing down the aging process, exploring expert insights, cutting-edge research, and personal experiences that uncover the art of aging gracefully. It's time to laugh, learn, and embrace a life full of vitality together.
So, welcome to the show. Today, we're going to be talking about the horrible disease of Alzheimer's. And let's take a step back because I don't know about you, but between dementia and Alzheimer's, I was trying to understand what the difference is. So I want to share that with you. So let's be clear. Dementia and Alzheimer's disease, they aren't the same. Dementia is actually a general term used to describe the symptoms that impact memory and the performance of daily activities and the communication abilities. But Alzheimer's is a disease that is most commonly associated with dementia. So Alzheimer's is a disease that gets worse with time and affects the memory, language, and thought. So while younger people can develop dementia or Alzheimer's disease, your risk increases as you age. And despite dementia or Alzheimer's disease being most common in adults over 65, neither one of those is considered a regular part of aging. So just want to make that clear that dementia, all right, is really describing the symptoms of things that happen with communication and the, effects of memory. And so when we're talking in today's podcast, we are talking about Alzheimer's ultimately, but dementia is a part of that journey to Alzheimer's, okay? And what I want to bring up here, because this has been most recently in pop news, right? If you follow celebrities like Bruce Willis, huge actor, right? And then when it came out that, if you don't know, he was diagnosed at 67 with a dementia.
The family of actor Bruce Willis is making a painful revelation about his health.
Yeah, Willis's wife revealed in an Instagram post that the actor's been diagnosed with something called frontotemporal dementia. It comes a year after the actor's family revealed he suffered from a different cognitive disease known as aphasia.
Let's bring in Dr. Kavita Desai now. She is a pharmacist and founder of a wellness brand focused on brain health. Kavita, in a statement released today, the Willis family said that challenges with communication are just one symptom of the disease Bruce faces. Help us understand what frontotemporal dementia is and how it affects the brain.
So it is a very rare type of dementia that affects the front part of the brain and the temporal part of the brain, which is the sides of the brain. And aphasia is one of the symptoms that you can have because the front of our brain is what controls our memory, our speech, all of our executive functions. So this is what Bruce Willis was presenting with.
So it sounds like you're saying maybe that first diagnosis of aphasia, was that inaccurate, or is it just these symptoms manifest differently and that made it seem confusing? Did he ever have aphasia?
Yeah, I think it was probably just an early symptom for him, which happens a lot with dementia because the symptoms can be slow to arise until a definitive diagnosis is made of dementia with an MRI or the right testing. We don't always know. So aphasia was not an inaccurate diagnosis. It was just the preliminary diagnosis to this final one.
So now that there appears to be a more final diagnosis, what treatment options are available for this type of dementia?
Sadly, as with all other types of dementia, there's no definitive treatment currently. There's only prevention that we can do with our lifestyle. So it's very sad for Bruce Willis.
Yeah, you mentioned prevention. I wanted to ask you about that. There are things that people can do that sort of help us and sort of enhance our brain health, right? In terms of trying to stave off dementia and Alzheimer's and such.
Correct. So in the case of frontotemporal dementia, it could be a head injury. So again, we want to always make sure we're practicing, safe practice in sports and avoiding head injuries, but also from a lifestyle standpoint for all dementias, it's eating clean organic foods, avoiding chemicals, improving sleep, reducing inflammation in the body. A lot of it comes from diet and lifestyle.
Both Bruce Willis and Wendy Williams, she's the one that would be like, how you doing?
Incidentally, America, I know that some of you are wondering, what is how you doing? How you doing is the official greeting of the Wendy Williams mess. You don't say it like Joey Tribbiani from Friends, how you doing? No. You say it like this, and I'm gonna teach you, and then we're gonna go to the Queen of Sheba. Look, you dim your eyes like this. And when you get to the end of doing, you spread your bottom lip. I'll do it once, and then go to my website, and you can take lessons. Okay, look. How you doing?
Right? I used to watch her all the time. And when I heard about this, I was like, oh my gosh, not the how you doing, lady. So their dementias, are typically, they say a person on average can live up to 7 years. This is very scary. And I think it hits home to a lot of us if you maybe know somebody that has a type of dementia or maybe Alzheimer's, that it's very sad to hear about this, right? Like, he was a diehard actor,
Go to the coast, we get together, have a few laughs. Hey, come on, baby, come to Papa. Drop it, dickhead. Thanks for the advice.
Can you identify yourself?
Not now.
Who are you then?
Line in the ointment, Hans. A pain in the ass. Call me Roy. Hey, motherfucker.
He was in so many movies, and Wendy Williams talking to people all the time, and all of a sudden that just shuts down. So, there's no cure for this. There's no cure for dementia. There's no cure for Alzheimer's. So what can we do? All right. So we're going to talk about some specific things that we can do. Okay. So first things first, did you know the average human brain shrinks by approximately 5% per decade after the age of 40? So our brain is literally shrinking, okay? So of course, this is going to impact your memory and focus as you age. And, there are certain lifestyle things that we can do. And we're going to talk about 7 of them, all right? 7 key things to help fight off the risk of these terrible diseases, okay? You guys ready for number 1? Number 1, all right, is really about checking yourself, keeping checks of this specific thing. And that's keeping your blood pressure and your cholesterol levels in check. So your heart roughly beats about 115,000 times a day. What? Isn't that crazy? I mean, we don't even think about it. And I always tell that to students in my class, especially during cool down, like, take a moment, put your hand on your heart, right? Just notice that heart beats on its own, and the heart was given to you. And it's something we don't think about. But also, this, the blood pressure, what is it doing, right? It sends about 20% of the oxygen in your body to your brain. We need oxygen. We need that circulation. I've talked about that in some of our other broadcasts, okay? Circulation is so important. And so the exercise can help with that, of course, but just checking your blood pressure in general. Go get your physicals once a year. Get one of those blood pressure machines. If you suffer from, if you have blood pressure issues, especially, according to researchers, it shouldn't be no higher than 120 over 80, all right? And if you're higher than that, of course, you want to take medical measures to make sure you get into those good ranges. Cholesterol is also critical to our brains. They They suggest that we get our cholesterol levels checked every 4 to 6 years. So cholesterol and blood pressure, check those, all right? That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, okay? Manage your sugar levels, all right? We've talked about sugar intakes before. I think sugar definitely has a bad rep, no matter how you look at it. But not all sugar is bad, right? If you don't have enough good sugar, right? What's considered good sugar? Well, I consider good sugar like fruits, my smoothies in the morning, But too much sugar, researchers say sugar isn't the enemy, it's excess sugar. So, sugar can add up, especially in processed foods, of course. And researchers say in these studies that say to prevent Alzheimer's is that you want to take a look at your ingredients list. So if it has any of these TOSes, T-O-S-E, so dextrose, fructose, galactose, glucose, lactose, maltose, and sucrose. They say to check these ingredients in packaged foods. All right, packaged foods, if you don't know by now, we want to minimize those as much as possible. Getting things from the ground, if it has a mother. So just be very aware. Be aware of your sugar intake, all right? You can have a cookie, just don't have the whole box, And, they always say high fructose corn syrup is a no-no. So stay away from those fake sugars. Get your smoothies in the morning. Those are going to be the good sugars you need.
This broadcast is brought to you by the Fit and Pretty Life fitness app. Ladies, are you tired of aging way too fast? Well, we need to get more movement into your day. And one way to do that is getting around 30 minutes a day of movement. The Fit and Pretty Life fitness app can help you with that. These are high intensity, low impact, so you're not going to kill your joints. This includes booty, abs, arms, total body, and legs. Now, I know what you're thinking. I can't do the workouts at home. I have to go to the gym. I have to be around people. Well, for now, for a limited time, you do get 2 live Zoom workouts a week. We work out on Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find us in our show notes here from the direct link, or you can find us on Apple Fit and Pretty Life app. We will see you soon.
All right, tip number 3. Get quality sleep, right? Key here is quality. Most of you might be listening and be like, okay, I get sleep. It's the quality sleep, okay? So what is quality sleep considered? Well, statistics show that people who sleep on average 7 to 9 hours of night show better health results for many things. I mean, sleep is nature's medicine, and if you think about your phone, right? You put your phone on at night to get the battery. Same idea there. Always think of sleep that way. When I thought about, someone told me that one time and I'm like, you're right. I got to literally charge myself, because once that battery runs out, I can't use it. The studies show that it raises your risk of memory loss. And I don't know about you, but when I don't sleep, I'm not as sharp, and it totally changes my day, between, and let's not talk about skincare here, but sleep is good for so many things, between skin, brain health. It really just is a battery for ourselves, So let's make sure we get that sleep. And there's many things you can do to enhance better sleep, okay? Keeping a regular bedtime, it's super important, right? Turn off your devices 1 hour. They say the screens for these does not help. So 1 hour before bedtime. I live in Florida, and I know if you live in the Midwest, when the weather can get funky, people really suffer from seasonal affective disorder, the SAD, what they call SAD, because it is sad. You get sad. I remember when I lived in Illinois, there are times when the weather just really can impact your mood, okay? And it can impact your sleep as well. But they say if you can wake up and get some sunshine, some type of light from the sun, even if it's winter or if it's a crappy spring day in Chicago, if you just get that little sun, it's going to help with your circadian rhythm, okay? And that's your body's natural way of knowing when to go to sleep and knowing when to wake up, right? You got to train your body, but you got to be consistent like anything else. And okay, some other things you can do, maybe start a routine at night, like maybe get some chamomile tea. I had chamomile tea a few years ago. I don't know why. I just never drank chamomile. I usually I'm a green tea type person. So I had it and it literally just made me go to sleep. So there's certain things you can do to help enhance going to bed. I know they've got, sleeping gummies nowadays. I've never personally had issues falling asleep. That's one of my super talents. So, but I do think having a regular routine with working out definitely helps with that. So that's another thing. So try to stick to that routine. All right. I know when the weekends come, you're like, I can sleep in, I can stay out late, but I find myself still trying to stick to that routine even on the weekends. And now for a commercial break. So I want to ask you, when is the last time you had a great tasting protein bar that wasn't full of garbage? I want to tell you, I gave up on protein bars a while ago because of this reason. They were either one, full of garbage, or two, they just tasted like cardboard. Okay. So I was really surprised when I was introduced to Nugo bars. All right. So Nugo bars are bars that don't contain bad oils, no sugar alcohols, and they taste really, really good. Okay. And they have protein to boot. So I love these protein bars when I need a quick fix, when I need something sweet that will give me some satiety. Honestly, these are really good with a little coffee in the morning. Forget the donuts, forget the coffees, just take a bite of these. And now for a limited time, if you go to nugonutrition.com/fitandpretty, that's NUGO nutrition.com/fitandpretty, FITNPRETTY, you'll get 50% off 12 bars. So normally this box is $30. You'll get this entire box of 12 bars that includes 2 dark chocolate pretzels with sea salt, 2 chocolate chip. You get 2 peanut butter cup. You get 2 mint chocolate chip, which is my favorite. You also get 2 dark mocha chocolates, and your last 2 is going to be your dark chocolate almond with sea salt. So it's limit 1 per customer. Hurry while supplies last. All right. So let's head on to tip number 4. Not a surprise, eating a nutritious diet. Okay. Many of the things that we talk about in our shows really comes down to a few things. There's a theme here, sleep, food. Okay. So what types of food are really good for reducing Alzheimer's? Studies show that a Mediterranean diet is really helpful. Okay. So there are things like salmon. You've got your good fats like avocados, nuts, berries. I highly recommend wild blueberries. I always have wild blueberries in my smoothies. They just have a lot more antioxidants, a lot more bang for your buck than your standard conventional blueberries. Okay. So you also, with the nutritious diet, we're going to combine this with your vitamin B complex. Okay. So your vitamin B complex, vitamin B is super, super important. Okay. I started to take supplements for this, but you can get vitamin B vitamins from your food. Okay. So we're talking about vitamin B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 12. All right. All these B vitamins are good for a lot of reasons. Okay. But you can get these B vitamins from food. Okay. You can get B1 vitamin from beans and lentils or edamame. I'm not a bean fan, but I really like edamame. And your B2, you can get it from salmon. Your B3, you can also get these from beans and lentils, edamame again. B5, sunflower seeds. B6, you get leafy greens. B7, which also includes biotin, so you can get that from eggs. Your B9 folate. By the way, B9 is really helpful in increasing and enhancing your mood. So like lettuce, arugula salad, I eat that like every day. Maybe that's why my energy is high. So take notes on that. Leafy greens, big fan of that. B12 really keeps your mind sharp. So if collectively, if you get the B complex, that is the ultimate prescription, if you will. So get those foods into your diet. Also, to keep this really basic and really simple, if you're not taking notes right now, let's say you're driving or whatever you're doing, multitasking, keep it very simple. It's like anything when you're trying to follow a good diet, all right? Number one, is the food from the ground? Is it from a mother? Does it spoil? Right? Twinkies don't spoil. So all these types of foods that qualify with those two questions, you're going to be in a better choice. You're going to be in a better territory for your brain health. All right, moving into tip number 5. This is no surprise, but smoking is bad for us, right? So don't smoke, because you know what the chances of smokers is to contracting this disease? So smokers have a 30% higher risk of developing dementia than non-smokers. All right, let's say that again. Smokers have a 30% higher risk of developing dementia than non-smokers. 30%, that's pretty high. Okay, so don't smoke. Say no to cigarettes. All right, let's move on to number 6. This one has been talked about in some of our other shows. Making social connections. Okay? If you are lonely, right, that is not going to help with reducing your chances of contracting Alzheimer's or any type of dementia. All right? So in a recent study, people over the age of 55 who regularly participated in dinner parties or other social events had a lower risk of losing their memory, right? So be social. If you are not social, start to do something that will at least get you to a place where you're not alone all the time. Okay? This repeated social connection has been studied to help encourage better brain health. Okay? And that's because of our good old friends, serotonin and endorphins. Okay? And so here's a tip. If you are very introverted and you really just are antisocial, there's some things you can do, okay? There's 3 tips I have, okay? Number 1, you can do a few things to perform small acts of kindness, all right? How about this? You wish others well or check in with somebody, right? So let's say you haven't talked to somebody in a while. Maybe you just call them up, you send them a text message, just ask how they're doing, right? Number 2, give a compliment without expecting anything in return, right? Have you ever given somebody a compliment? Doesn't it feel really good? It's almost like when you give a gift instead of receiving a gift. It's the same thing. And number 3, make a phone call to somebody that you don't usually reach out to, okay? So maybe there's somebody that you haven't talked to in a long time. Reaching out to them. There's something about that is really inherently good for, your personal happiness, but that impacts our brain. Okay? So, moving on to number 7 here. This is one of the most important things as we age, okay? And it's not a surprise that I found this in research, but maintaining a strong memory is not all about brain games and crossword puzzles. Although those are great to have, learning new skills and acquiring information are more effective to making connections in your brain. So think of your brain as like there's just little connections in your brain. Right? So as you age, your brain is shrinking, right? First of all, and those connections, right? They become less, active. So how can we make this more active? Well, learning something new, reading a book that will teach you how to learn something. They say that, learning a new language. So learn a new language, all right? They've got so many possibilities. There's so many apps. That is going to just help build new grooves in the brain. Think about it that way. We need to add a little bit more files in the brain, all right? Because some of them have withered away. I also want you to think about this, okay? Learning new skills like fitness, okay? You want to work different muscles, and the same goes for your brain. So do a crossword puzzle, do a full puzzle, like those old fashioned ones, right? When it was during COVID, everybody was buying puzzles because there's nothing else to do. But also make a schedule for yourself, learn a new language, okay? Maybe learn a new instrument. Go choose that trombone you've been eyeing. I used to play the trombone, but yeah. So those are some of the things that will help really impact the life of your brain. And really the most important thing, if you get anything out of this podcast, is that preventative measures definitely negates genetics. Okay? So I hope some of these tips will make you more aware of your lifestyle choices. And if you enjoy this podcast, please share this with a friend that might need it. We'll see you next time. Bye.